Well, what started the philanthropy journey for me was many years ago, actually, before I was even a teenager. I just remember as a child just seeing, people in very unjust situations, and it didn't sit right with me. It was never something that I could just kind of see and then brush off and move on. I would think about it for days and days and days on end as a child. And that grew on me as I grew into my teens. And then, you get inspired by other teens doing big things and people in the philanthropy space doing amazing things. And I guess, kind of grew into it. And then we had this incredible opportunity of starting the Kolisi Foundation. And there's so much we've been able to do through that. We've really just used it as a vehicle, and we've been able to do a lot, but still not even close to where we want to be. The vision of the Kolisi Foundation is to change the narrative of inequality in South Africa, and it sounds pretty, right? But it's a massive thing that we are trying to accomplish. And I love that. I love that it's a big vision. I love that it's nothing small. I love that it's not something close we'll get to maybe even in our lifetime, or something we'll probably have to go on for many years to come, and our children will take over and potentially their children. But our intention is to work ourselves out of a job in the philanthropy space, and may not be something that we see in our lifetime, but in the generations to come, it is something that we hope to see happen. When you talk about mine and Sia's narratives, they're two completely different stories. Where I grew up and the way that Sia grew up is completely different. And in a way that I think that it's good, because there's so much more ground we can cover. But when it comes to the work that we're doing through the foundation, one of the things that we really wanted to address was both of the things that were really big challenges for us as young people. And, things like hunger, things like fatherlessness, divorce, depression, and sporting development. For the people that are wanting to partner with the foundation, firstly, that's amazing and so admirable. I think that, whether it's our foundation or somebody else's foundation or another project that's going on or somebody who's doing amazing work, I think that that's absolutely amazing. And I think that if we really want to see change in the world and change in our country, then it's going to require us kind of putting a little bit of resource in, and sometimes that's your time and sometimes that's your money if you can financially. There's many different ways that you can partner, and often we have different projects going on at different times. So I always just suggest to people to keep in touch via social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, basically anywhere you possibly can be on social media. And also just to follow on the website what's going on there. But we've also got a volunteer form available on the website, and more on the, if you're a company and wanting to partner with a foundation, there's also a bunch of information on the website there. My absolute hope for our nation and the people in our nation, it's definitely not something that I can pinpoint. There's a number of things, but one thing that's really been a big mindset change for me is justice in our country, and learning about justice in our country and understanding what that actually entails. We have such a complicated, but in a way beautiful history that I think we can learn a lot from if we're willing to put in that time to do that. So for me, it's really, my heart and my desire is to see every South African's eyes opened to the truth and open to the past, and to understand what that means in the present, understand how that places us where we are today, And sometimes it requires tough conversations, and sometimes it requires, awkward positions. But, one thing for me is I'm always thinking about the youth of our country, like what kind of environments am I setting up for the youth of our country? So I think for me is really just a desire to see everyone's eyes opened, and what people decide to do with that is their business, and how they choose to use that is up to them. But I just think one thing that's important to remember is that if you're choosing to do nothing, then you can't expect anything to change. But if you see the value in choosing to do something and give a bit of resource, give a bit of time, I think you can go ahead and hope for the best and hope for everything that you hope to see in the country change for the better.